The Japan Times finally released the Genki Graded Readers to the public. So I spent $300 on all 4 box sets to find out if they're worth your money. The first thing I noticed is that all the copy on the front of the box sets is in Japanese. If you can read this, you don't need these books. But anyway, the real first thing I noticed is the price, which we definitely need to discuss, but we're gonna save that for later. The inside of each book is very attractive. There's original artwork, which is sometimes blended with photography from actual locations throughout Japan. Box sets 1 to 3 have 12 books, and set 4 has 10. Set 1 covers lessons 1 to 6, set 2 covers 7 to 12, set 3 covers Genki 2 lessons 13 to 18, and set 4 covers 19 to 23. That Japanese copy on the front of the boxes that I told you about before, well, it says that you should be able to read everything in these books without a dictionary, if you've studied the content in Genki up to each lesson, of course. There are a few new vocabulary words at the beginning of each book, and it's nice that they give you them ahead of time. The next thing I noticed is that the Genki 1 books open from right to left, like English books. This is fine, except some of the manga bubbles need to be read right to left, like in Japanese books. It seems relative height is also taken into account here, but it's not super obvious at first. I did get used to it though. The Genki 2 books open left to right, like Japanese books and manga. I personally think doing this from Genki 1 would have been better, and this could have been avoided. Would this annoy you? Let me know in the comments. A decent amount of the books in Genki 1 use characters from the textbooks like Takeshi and Mary and explore their lives a bit more. The Genki 2 sets have much less of this, which is kind of a bummer. But this is an issue that all graded readers seem to have, at least Japanese ones. The early, simple levels have lots of original stories and scenarios. They can be fun, silly, original, creative, but inevitably, as the books get harder, for some reason they all transition into one of 3 categories: travel pamphlets, rehearsing of Japanese folktales and urban legends, which you could read online for free, legally, in formats aimed at elementary school students, and thus relatively easy to understand, and social study textbooks. Inevitably, these introduce kabuki, sumo, onsens, and snow monkeys. The Japan Times did the same thing, of course. There are exactly 2 original stories in Genki 2 Box Set 3. All the others note that they are based off folktales or urban legends. The others are travel pamphlets or social study textbooks. And I didn't see any truly original stories in Box Set 4. In fact, I didn't even bother reading Box Set 4 because 3 was so damn boring. Japan Times, Tadoku, anyone thinking of writing a graded reader series, please stop. Write interesting original stories for higher levels, just like you do for the complete beginners. Then maybe we'd actually be willing to spend the ridiculous prices you're asking. Well, probably not even then actually. Each of these box sets is 7,700 yen, which is currently $58 US, plus about $25 to have it sent if you're outside of Japan. So that's $83 US. That's almost $7 per little book. Even Lesson 6, the final and obviously most content-rich volume in Box 1, only has 20 pages. That's about 35 cents per page. I counted the words in that final book too. There are 212. That's words including particles and counters, which is almost 3 cents for every single word. In book 1, there are only 76 words, which is nearly 10 cents per word, particle, and counter. Do you think that's worth it? Let me know in the comments. As for me, I think that's nuts. Even the Tadoku graded readers, which are not cheap, do not cost that much. They're about 2,400 yen per 5-book set, so 480 yen per book versus Genki's 690 yen. It's not much better, but they also offer a ton of free graded readers on their website, which you can read now, even if you haven't bought any of their books before. To compare to our website, tokeniandy.com, we charge $10 per month and have over 100 original stories of similar length based on the same grammar. Plus, we have tons of grammar lessons and practice videos, tests. We personally check students' practice recordings and answer questions, and more. So if you were fast, you could get way more for up to $320 less than these books. Even if you only read the stories, never touched the other content, and it took you 2 years, it'd still be cheaper than these books. My point is not that you should sign up for the site, though that's not a bad point. My point is that these graded readers are not a very good value. If they were about $25, I would probably recommend Box 2, as it's the most interesting. Box 1 has too little to read, and Genki 2 boxes they're not interesting. I'm sorry, I wanted to like them. Unless you really like social studies textbooks and travel pamphlets, then maybe they're worth it. The Japan Times really had a chance with these. They could have been awesome at $25, but they're neither. Let me know in the comments if you were thinking about picking these up and what you're gonna do now. Also, please hit the like button if you found this helpful and subscribe for Japanese grammar lessons and more. Check out this video for some free learning content.